Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Behind the Scenes with the cast of The Viral Murders. Now, over the last few episodes, we have seen something incredibly weird happening between Red and maybe somebody else, and there's been another death. If you haven't seen it yet, please do go and watch it before you listen to this, because we're going to be giving away what happened in the episodes. And without further ado, Yellow died. We've got to be talking about that this week, and so let's just jump to the person who had to do that. Matt, you had to die this week. How was it?
It was about time. A lot of the people will probably be like cheering that Yellow has died this week. So yeah, you got your wish. So thank you.
I think you're probably right. I mean, it's a great character. It's been set up to be that sort of character, which was really great. What I liked about these last couple of episodes, in fact, the episode that was released Friday, in particular, was what we're seeing from between Pink and Blue and Dylan. Why don't you tell me a bit about that?
Well, there's obviously the tension from the previous episodes where Pink has been found guilty of having an affair with Green. So Blue's quite emotional with that, but he's also quite emotional with the fact that of the possibility that Red could have murdered his sister. So if she's done that, who else is she willing to kill? Is she in fact set this whole thing up?
It is a big kind of reveal here that we've got somebody who is like the Harold Shipman of the show in Evadne, and I say I'm not going to come to Evadne too much, but are you still with us?
I am still with you. Just I've got my eyes up. Yes, I am still with you. Yes, but no, I absolutely refute the fact that I murdered Millie. I just eased her pain.
You just slipped, is that?
No, I eased her pain. It was a mercy killing. I mean, she would have died horribly had I not brought the event forward a tad.
But then it does.
No, it goes no more about that.
But then it does
open up a whole ethical can of worms, really.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there is such a thing as an ethical can of worms.
I euthanized her.
Isn't all ethics kind of worms?
No, it's more an alphabetti spaghetti.
And everyone's asking why.
I'm not absolutely sure that had anything to do with the way I managed to euthanize Millie, but hey, alphabetti spaghetti is pretty good anyway, so
talk to me.
I said that first.
Talk to me, Tash, a little bit about the writing for these last two episodes. What was it, obviously, without giving anything away, what was it that you were trying to get across in here? What are the takeaways for you that were important to get across?
Well, some of the big things with Yellow's death, that one had to be quite a monumental death because he was a monumental prick. But at this point, I wanted the audience to really, really just despise this man. So hence why he got the sort of the Monty Python style death with it's just a flesh wound.
I loved that quote.
But yeah, it was really just that sort of relief of finally getting his comeuppance and seeing him die. But there was also quite a big clue in this episode as well, which I was like, oh, I wonder if anybody noticed that one. And I can't say what it was.
I did, but I'm not saying. So that's why you can always find me on Instagram and pay me £100,000 and I'll tell you the
answer. But yeah, I mean, this one was, it's really sort of ramping up that tension to really sort of, so that when we start to dig down to who the killer is, it becomes...
Well, there's only 4 of us left.
Yeah. So they'll be guessing soon.
And 5 have become 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we did hear a little bit more, of course, not in the last episode, but in the previous one, about Violet's relationship as well.
Yeah.
And do you want to expand on that a little bit more? Or?
Well, obviously she's got the relationship with Orange, so it's really sort of bringing that into the forefront, because that was quite an important aspect of this whole sort of storyline, in that what these two girls are up to, and their part in it, because Violet really is the key to the whole thing. She's kind of the one person that could help you
Really
figure out
upend the ship here.
yeah, I'm kind of trying to word this so I don't give it away
Without
too
giving
much,
anything
but
away.
she-
Now,
but she's
Demelza,
she's-
you're dead.
I am.
How did you find this week's episode?
From Beyond the Grave, it was quite interesting. I have to say, I definitely enjoyed Patrick's death. I loved watching him die so much. I especially loved the line, Jesus Christ, Rasputin, die already! Because it just sort of summed up the
Oh,
whole
love
that. With the situation very well. Also, yes, hearing her sort of, I think it was in part 1, I actually had to re-record the scenes for scene 7 with Tash because there was a problem with the audio the first time round. And whilst I was re-recording for the new scenes, I was like dead watching the volume control because the problem was something to do with the volume. And I was like doing this and trying to do it all at the same time, just like, don't go over. I don't want to re-record this again.
And in terms of sort of production, in terms of the things that we've been doing, there have been little pockets where we've had to record somebody over again because something has gone wrong in the recording process. Tash, you and Evadne have largely been handling that. How have you found that process of it? Is it difficult or sudden, or do you just sort of jump into it and drop into it again?
I mean, as the director, obviously Evadne's doing a lot of the directing on these sort of pieces, and she's sort of the one who's in charge of making sure the volumes are right, because I when I was in charge of it, it went very wrong. So Evadne is in charge because she's the sensible one.
Really?
But
Any other day but today.
Any other day but today. But yeah, so with the whole sort of going into the in and out of the character, yeah, I mean the voices were a little bit more a bit more difficult to get consistent, because Max's voice is lifted a little bit and Violet's voice has got a slightly different accent on, and some of the episodes I've been listening back to, I'm like, oh god, my voice has changed a couple of times.
You did have that moment on this one where you're talking to yourself as well.
Yes. Yeah, that's quite, it's weird to listen back to, because of course I can just hear it's me and I'm just hearing my voice, but I don't know, I'm sitting there going, it's not different enough. It just sounds like me with a different accent.
I assure you, it does sound like two people from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
And what we found, sorry to jump in, but what we found frequently is this, like it could be second or third recording, frequently is the best of the lot anyway. So we're quite chuffed that we can get the opportunity of doing it again. And the actors who've had to re-record. I mean, Jay is one of the lucky ones who hasn't had to re-record anything. Perfect Jay.
What can I say?
This is why we call him One Take Jay. It's all we can get out of him.
It is my other half.
So Jay, again, you know, you're not in it very much at the moment.
He's dead.
Yes,
Only for the makeup.
At last.
Which doesn't leave much for you to play around with the audio, obviously with a dead person. But how have you've been listening, presumably because you know we're coming on here and doing these things? What do you think about it? And I should point out, you know, you are somebody who does music. So in terms of audio, from all of the people who are sitting here right now, you probably have more experience with that than any of us. What are your feelings about the way that it's going, the way that it's being edited, the sort of the production values of it?
Oh, I think it's been absolutely fantastic, to be honest. I think it's been really, really good. Yeah, very atmospheric. You know, all the sound effects, superb. I mean, listening to Matt trying to be murdered over and over again and just listening to the machinery going, it was just really, really good. I couldn't stop laughing. I was actually in the car listening to it at the time, and I was laughing so hard. It was brilliant. Yeah, Matt, fantastic.
I should say you listen to it when it comes out, but then we re-record these a couple of days later, and so about an hour before we come on here, I listened to it all again. Yeah, in double speed, which is even funnier. So if you haven't done that yet,
Oh,
Oh, I'm doing
what?
that
Give
now.
that a go. It's brilliant.
Oh, you get us all doing that.
I would like
Full
to
speed.
just make sure that everybody's aware that Jay did all the music for this.
Yeah,
He
I
is the
thought
you-
one responsible for
minds
that
touch. I was about to say the
amazing
same thing.
tunes
Mm.
that we've got over the top and all our intro tunes and everything. And I want to just keep using that tune because it's so fucking awesome. Thank
It
you
is very
so much.
good, and
Welcome.
we've used that in all of our promo stuff, everything that we can find. Because it fits perfectly. It's been absolutely fantastic. So thanks ever so
Good.
much
Welcome.
to Jay for that. Dylan, coming back to you, and I'm coming back to Dylan mostly because you're one of the few people who are left.
I know.
where,
I paid the writer very well.
where do you think? Where do you think we're going from here? You know, what do you think is because you've had that moment this week where you've put yourself on the line. Anyone but
Yes.
Pink, you know, you've made the supreme
Yes.
sacrifice without actually making the supreme sacrifice. How do you
Yeah,
feel
we've
about
actually-
that?
We've kind of seen this journey of Blue being this kind of almost, all right, I'm along for the ride. Yes, my life's in danger, but I don't think he really believed it. To kind of finding out everything's going absolutely wrong and this is beyond his control. And now the situation's serious and he can hack the system. And now we're looking into his past. So the things that he's been looking into, which is the ghost of his past, which is the death of his sister. So for episode 2, I had to try and go back into my 14-year-old self to do the voice for this, which I found a little bit difficult because I was trying very desperately not to go into Harry Enfield territory. So I didn't want to go into, oh, it's not fair. Oh, no, Mom.
Now I've just got this idea of somebody going, oh no, I've pressed the wrong button, and just hearing in the background, now I do not think you wanted to do that.
There we go. But yes, we've kind of seen Blue go from all that into now kind of positioning himself to sacrifice himself for Pink. I think it's one of the very few episodes now, apart from maybe the first 2, where we've seen Blue not being an arse.
Well, you have gone from bit of a dick at the beginning to
really has.
complete dick for one episode.
Yeah.
There was a sort of a dick hump in the middle of it. This isn't sounding very good, is it? And then
There was a shit hump in the middle somewhere. Yes.
and then towards the end, you're clearly on that whole redemption arc thing, and so now you are the archetypical hero now.
Well,
That's
the question though. Is it a hero, or is he the person in any kind of murder stroke slasher film who gives himself up for the next character to go along?
What you mean is he the guy who ends up playing Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movie because his career ended after that?
Oh, geez.
Harsh.
We'll have to work with
Right,
It does
we
seem a tad unfair.
sad but true.
True,
I'm afraid.
but
Yeah.
fair.
Yes.
But yeah, no, that's just it. He's sacrificing himself for Pink, so he's finding his whole redemption arc, and I think he's just
You
realised.
see, I don't think he is. I think he's doing it just to make Pink think that he's doing it. I think it's all a masquerade.
You think it's a show?
I do. I don't think
do.
he's anywhere near that nice.
I don't think he's nice, but I think it's a different reason. I think he's kind of, because of the whole memory thing, he's had to face some realities about himself, and now he's trying to reinforce the idea that he is a good guy, but he's not quite pulling it off.
No, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good
I'd
way of
agree
putting
with
it,
that.
actually, Jamal. So
I'd agree
yeah,
with that.
I
I
agree
would
with
say
that,
that's
yeah.
what I was going with in terms of the writing of Blue, is that sort of
Yeah.
as those memories return, it's facing that fact of, because I think it's a point that everybody in their life, when they make those big stupid mistakes and they do something stupid, that you're not as perfect as you thought you were, or you're not as brilliant as you thought you were, and you made this mistake, and then you have to face who you are and go, oh no.
And of
Yeah, I
course,
think
without your memories there as well to begin with, then you're going to, you don't know who you are, and so the idea that you're then going to have some sort of, make some judgments that will probably, when you suddenly do realise who you are again, be completely out of character. That's got to be, that's got to be an interesting kind of look into
Like
the
the
psyche of
mind
somebody.
fuck, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, that's got to be it for this particular video, I'm afraid. Thanks ever so much for coming along. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the little bell icon, and the all notifications tab at the end. And of course, until next time, don't forget, keep your hands off your buttons. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.